I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And today we're going to be talking about they pulled away and then they came back again. We see this all the time. Not just with breakups, but when you're dating somebody or even in a relationship. People will often need space and then they come back around again. Sometimes they take a little bit too long and you start to really wonder if they care about you.
Right.
I got a little email today that was asking us about this, so I thought I'd bring it up.
Good.
They said, "Hello, Coach Craig and Margaret. I am writing you from France. Don't worry, I am not going to ask you about the handwritten letter."
Good. A little humor there. We like that.
They said, "We don't really do that here. LOL." I am a very big fan of your channel. Watching your videos every day is like a psychology class. I love it. I have an idea for a video topic. People that pull away and then come back. I've noticed that some people do this all the time and it is very frustrating. Do you have any ideas about this? Should you take them back if they do this? Or should you just walk away? Okay. So Margaret and I are going to take a look at this and maybe some of the things that you should consider before you make a decision. Because you'll find that sometimes you'll be dating somebody new and they kind of go off the grid for a while. You don't know what happened and what's going on there. And then they come back and you're like, okay, what happened? So we're going to look at some factors that we think you should look at before you decide what you want to do with that person. Okay?
It's a difficult question, and it comes up often.
It really does. So, you want to find out information before you do anything, okay? Even if you really like the person, even if you had a great time with them, you got to think things through. Because if you attach to somebody who's going to play games or isn't going to really value you, you're going to wind up getting hurt, not them. Right?
True.
Okay. So, when you're looking at the situation, you got to look at two different people. You have to look at them. You want to look at yourself. You really want to self-reflect. Was it your behavior that may have done something that pushed them away? Were you demanding? Were you lashing out? Were you controlling? Were you coming on too strong? What were you doing? Did they have any valid complaints? Did they have any feedback that they had given you prior to disappearing?
Yes, that would be the first place to look. I agree.
Yeah. Look at yourself.
Yeah.
Right? You
look very hard at the last time you spoke. Yeah.
Did something happen? Did something feel off? What was going on there? Okay? All right. The next thing that you really want to look at is, was something going on with them? There may have been some kind of internal struggle that they were dealing with. Something they didn't tell you about. Maybe they were stressed about something. You gotta look at it and
very important
find out.
to ask, was anything going on in their family of origin? And you often get an answer there. My grandmother was sick. You know, my father broke his leg. Oftentimes there's something going on there.
And so if they're telling you something like, my grandmother was in the hospital, I was very upset, I had to go visit her 3 times, my whole family's upset, then okay, that makes sense. I'm glad you could communicate that now. Please tell me ahead of time, next time, or when it happens, just so I know what's going on with you, so I don't wonder, right? So you're looking for some kind of transparency. When they come back, are they honest about what happened? Do they say, I'm sorry I haven't reached out in a couple of weeks, I'm, you know, I apologize for that. I should have gotten back with you sooner. This is what was going on. That is healthy. You want to see transparency.
Yes, that's what you want.
Mm-hmm. And are they sincere with you? Right? Mm-hmm. Because some people will just come back like nothing ever happened.
And that's what I hear very often. 3 or 4 months later, sometimes even 6 months later, he called me and wanted to go out and acted very cheerful and happy to talk to me, as if no time had passed at all.
Now, it's different if you're trying to re-attract an ex, right? Because in that situation, you know why they didn't contact you, right? They had broken up with you. They ended the relationship. So that's why you don't have to get them to be transparent about why they're coming back now, because they missed you, right? That's different. But if you're seeing somebody and they just vanish on you, or you're in a relationship and then they just disappear, then you need to know what happened here. You want to get an answer, because if you just take them back, then they can do it again. And
they do it again. Mm-hmm. I've had numerous complaints about that. I was just going to share, I think I shared this before, but let me share it again. I talked with one woman who complained that her boyfriend would get distant from her every year around the holidays. Mm-hmm. And finally we figured out that it was an anniversary of when his father died. Oh, which was extremely painful for him. Mm-hmm. He had not been aware of what the difficulty was around that time of year. So it's worth asking the questions.
Yeah, because things like that do come up.
Yes, and of course now she does not feel like she's being abandoned every year when he gets upset about that and withdraws a little. Yeah. So everybody's better off.
I know for myself, I'll pick up on something that's going on with me when my mom passed away, which was right around Thanksgiving. Yep. Right? It was like within days of that. So that will come up for me, but, you know, I'm aware of that. Right. So most people or many people won't be aware of something like that.
Don't think of it. Yeah.
Right. This is a warning for you ladies out there. A lot of times, a man will disappear on you, act like he doesn't care. He'll show you with his behavior that he doesn't care, and he's only coming back because he wants sex. Right?
Well, that was very honest of you.
Yeah?
Yes, that is true.
That is something that we talked about.
And it does happen, yeah.
And, you know, if you want to be intimate with him, that's your choice. Mm-hmm. But be aware that they might only be coming back because of the sex, not because they really care about you. Yeah. Now, if you're seeing sincere behavior, transparent behavior, honest behavior, and being accountable, then there's probably more to it than just that. But be careful.
Yeah. And he's probably not going to admit that he's coming back to see you only for sex. What if he does admit it? Yeah. Again, it's up to you.
Yeah.
How you want to handle it.
Exactly. Yeah. I literally had a woman recently, she really cared about this guy and wanted to make it work with him. And so she reached out trying to reconnect with him. She broke no contact. And, you know, it was authentic. You know, she was trying to repair things. Mm-hmm. And, you know, she felt bad afterwards. But, of course, what does he do to make her feel worse? He texts back, "Sounds like you want sex." And that is not how she reached out in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, wow.
She wasn't trying to be seductive. Wow. She was just trying to repair things with him. And he says, "Sounds like you want sex." Okay, what does that tell me? He wanted sex.
That's what it tells
That's
me
all he
too.
cared about was sex.
That was all he could think of.
Yeah, and that was it. It was as basic, as little as he could possibly do to get her attention or try and do anything with her.
Yeah, and I bet she was really upset.
Yeah, she was.
Sure.
You know, you have to explore what's going on with somebody when they just vanish from your life.
And then come back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, we understand people have issues, people have stress, people have problems. But you don't want to be with somebody who's going to continue to do that. Because if they really value you, they're going to act like an adult. Right. Right?
Right. Or they may have major attachment issues.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard of people, men particularly, who will be quite intimate for several months at a time, even talking about a future with somebody, and then disappear for 3 or 4 months, and then recontact them as if nothing had ever happened.
Yep.
And I remember one woman I talked with had finally said to the man, "I can't do this anymore. How come you do it?" He said, "Well, it's comfortable for me. I get scared if we get too close, and I didn't know it bothered you." And I think he was being honest.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got to be aware that if somebody does something like this once,
Yeah.
there's a good chance they could do it again.
They can do it again.
And,
right.
you know, you don't want people to think that they can come in and out of your life without any accountability.
Right.
And just do whatever they want.
So you can't put up with it, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
And you're absolutely right. No, you can't. And I know people who have.
Yes. Because they are not going to value you.
Right.
If they can just disappear and then come back like nothing happened, they're not going to value you because you're not holding them accountable and you're kind of acting like a doormat. Mm-hmm. And if somebody doesn't respect you, they're not going to love you. So you got to command respect.
Yep. And
don't let people just vanish on you again and again and again.
No, not fair.
Because you're going to wind up getting hurt.
That's right.
And they're not really invested because it's like, I don't have to do anything. I just text this girl, sounds like you want sex, and next thing I know, we're hooking up again. I mean, come on. Of course. Yeah, so then that's all he has to do, and it shows you don't really value yourself and respect yourself. Because he said,
it's a good point.
Yeah.
That, you know, in an odd kind of way, when you set limits with somebody who's misusing you, they're relieved. I know that sounds crazy, but it is true. So he's going to feel better, you're going to feel better, and you say, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah. So you gotta realize that a lot of people will behave depending upon how they can attach.
Right.
Okay? And these avoidant guys out there especially are going to be more likely to come in and out of your life like nothing ever happened. Mm-hmm. And if you allow that, they'll continue to do it. You know, I don't think secure guys will do this very much.
No. Because
they'll communicate with you and let you know what's going on with them. And the anxious people will be so scared of losing you, they won't want to disappear. So really, a lot of times,
avoidant guys who are going to do
it's
this.
a lot of the avoidant guys. But like I said, you know, maybe it was something where you did come on too strong. Sometimes that does happen, and then they get a little freaked out, right?
Yes.
So you got to think about it. Is it reasonable for what you have done in the last interactions? Or are you looking back at yourself thinking, boy, I really went overboard that time, right? 'Cause
my anxiety showed, yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully this will help you see a little bit more clearly why some people will just come and go in and out of your life and why you shouldn't allow that.
No.
Right? You want to get information because if you don't, you're going to put yourself in a position where you're going to get hurt.
And you know, one of the things we were saying a week or so ago after when I was talking with you about Dr. Harville Hendricks and his brilliant ideas on relationships, one of the things he recommends highly is being curious about your partner. Mm-hmm. Not nosy, not, you know, demanding to know, but being curious about your partner. What goes on in your head? Mm-hmm. How did that feel for you? You can ask anything you want. They can answer or not.
Yep, absolutely. So hopefully you found this video helpful. Of course, when you want to get my help personally, just go to my website, askcraig.net. Sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Margaret is available for Skype coaching.
Yes, feel free to sign up with me. I'd love to talk with you.
Just click on Margaret on the top of the website to do that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. You can find me podcasted now on iTunes, Spotify, and so much more. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And we will talk with you soon.